Welcome. Today I'm going to be drawing a self-portrait. In red here, I'm just blocking out the form and figure, figuring out where everything's going to go. I made sure to give myself broad shoulders because it's one of my defining characteristics that I'm honestly usually pretty self-conscious about. I wanted to use this portrait, this drawing, as a way to show some love to some of my features that I am not normally a fan of. Another one is I have holes in my eyebrows that I usually fill in with makeup, but here I left them blank and I feel like it really adds character to the drawing, and I ended up really loving it. So maybe I'll love my real eyebrows soon. Here I'm just blocking in color and adding lines to the hair. Hair is something I usually on paper or in physical paint have a lot of trouble with. Finding the shading to get the right dimension and detail is something that's really difficult for me, but Procreate makes it a lot easier, and digital drawing in general, because I am able to try and delete and try and delete. So I'm always debating on how detailed I want to go with the hair. You can see me trying a bunch of different shading methods here, and I just experimented with a lot of different brushes, a bunch of different shading and opacity level. I really like the hatch marks that I did, which I think would look really good in not so vibrant of a hair color, something more muted, but red hair is a little bit harder for me to define in art, which I think is kind of funny given that it's my hair color. But I gave myself the clippy 90s updo that I like to wear a lot, less so now, just because I'm lazy. But here I'm trying a bunch of different, or a few different styles, not a bunch. I'm painting the face in with the guac brush. Because I did a little bit more detailed of a hairstyle, I wanted to try to do it as a digital painting, but it's something I'm not super comfortable with and do have a bit of trouble, so I futzed around a lot and honestly eventually just gave up and went with my typical block shading. I use the syrup brush and just turn the opacity down to 50 to work with my shading and kind of just let it feel. I have really deep set eyes, so that's what the circles underneath are for. That's another characteristic that I have a lot of trouble with, so I wanted to show it some love too. And then here I'm just lining the face. I like line drawing, but sometimes black lines, especially in portraits, are just way too harsh. So I take a shade 2 shades darker than I use to shade the drawing. Of course, had to give myself typical e-girl blush nose and cheeks because, you know, it's 2020. Here I'm just futzing around with the background a bunch and eventually end up with my favorite white line. I have a little white scar on my nose, so I made sure to add that in there, even though it's harder to see in the speed draw. But if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll be posting more of these soon. Thanks!